What's going on, folks? Nadir Tool Dyno Works, and I am finally back on the dyno today with our Transalp, and this is actually just more of a video about tuning in general than specifically about the performance of the Transalp with our custom ECU mapping. This is just a good opportunity for me to cover this particular topic, and that is really the difference between one tuning service and another when it comes to, say, something like a Power Vision tune on these bikes, which is a popular solution for these bikes, which again is why it's a good opportunity for me to cover it, and our custom ECU mapping, and how they truly perform and compare to one another. So as this bike sits right now, it has the Dominator slip-on installed, and only the slip-on. The header currently is the stock header. I was actually just testing fitment with the Camel ADV skid plate they've developed and sent us for testing, but I'm actually going to go ahead and cover this in a separate video because I'm going to put a couple different headers on there and show how well it fits with those systems. So that's beside the point. The important part is that currently the bike just has a slip-on installed, there's a K&N air filter in there inside the air box, and that's it. And I've also got for this bike a Power Vision. So I can go ahead and load any tune file that they have built already for this platform into the bike. And just so you can see there's no funny business here, that little asterisk next to it means that's one already in place in the ECU. And as you can see, they've labeled this as slip-on exhaust. So now that's in place, we're gonna go ahead and hook it back up and run it and see how it performs. So after 5 passes, just to make sure it's up to proper operating temperature, here is the best result. 77 horsepower and 50 pound-feet of torque. If you take a look down there at the AFR chart, you can see that it is lean pretty much everywhere. I mean, that dash line that it's tracing is right above 14 to 1 AFR. The dash red line is about 13.2 to 1, which is the appropriate target for this bike at wide open throttle. And it's just lean all the way till about 7,500 RPMs. It gets pretty close, and it starts to lean out again at the top. But that's not really the important part to dive into here. The important part to dive into is the power curve. You can see that up there at the top end, it just kind of falls flat, doesn't keep climbing. There's a big dip right there around 3,500, 4,000 RPMs. And to be completely honest with you guys, the second I saw the power curve, I kind of knew the way this comparison video was going to go. But just to go ahead and show you and do a true back-to-back, no bullshit test, I'm going to go ahead and now flash in our ECU mapping we built for a slip-on for this bike and see how it performs in comparison to the DynoJet file. And again, just so there's absolutely no lack of transparency here, this is just my generic slip-on file. Just like the Power Vision file that is currently in place, I am using a slip-on file that we built for just your average slip-on system. It is not specific to this Dominator. It is not fancy whatsoever. This is just the basic fuel mapping, ignition timing tweaks, and again, those are very minor in these bikes, and the custom throttle-by-wire mapping and torque maps that we've developed for this platform. And this is the results. Again, just 5 passes. You can see there, 5 passes on the Power Vision tune file, 5 passes on ours. No funny business, no nothing. Ours makes 85 horsepower and 50 pound-feet of torque. You can even see down there, if you look at the fueling, that yes, it's not the perfected file I have for the Dominator, because again, I wanted this to be a true apples-to-apples comparison. So it's a little bit off, but it's massively closer than the Power Vision file was pretty much throughout the entire RPM range. There is one spot there where, again, I've actually pulled that fuel away in the specific file, but in this file it's about 3% rich between 5,000 and 6,000 RPMs, and about 3 or 4% rich right around 3,500 to 3,700 RPMs. But besides that, it is truly perfect. But the fueling truly isn't the problem here. Yeah, it's not good that the Power Vision tune has it running that lean with a slip-on in place. It's not lean enough to hurt anything, but it's certainly suboptimal. The real problem is just the lack of R&D that went into this, because the torque maps aren't defined in this software. Again, the DynoJet Power Vision software. The throttle-by-wire maps clearly are not defined or manipulated properly. The ignition timing hasn't been touched. Everything that you need to really uncork and smooth out these bikes just hasn't been done. So is it better than stock? Sure. But is it really comparable to what we offer here at Tool Dyno Works and our flashing service for these bikes? Absolutely not. And just so you can see truly how different these are from one another, I've gone ahead and overlaid them. You can see right off the bottom, our custom throttle and ignition timing mapping makes so much more power. Again, right where you're riding the bike the most, 3, 4, 5,000 RPMs. The tuning is pretty much identical between 6,000 and about 7,500 RPMs. And then at the top end, ours just completely climbs away from the Power Vision file. There's truly no comparison between the tuning on this platform from what they offer versus what we offer. Now, I want to be completely clear here. I did not make this video with the intention of just bashing DynoJet. I spend tens of thousands of dollars a year at DynoJet, and the PowerVision is truly the best software for many other platforms. I actually have something like 140 Milwaukee 8 Harley-Davidsons tuned on this very dyno just this year alone with the PowerVision, because for that platform, it is by far the best way to go. On the Transalp, that is absolutely not the case. Whenever we go ahead and buy a brand new model, like this Transalp that we picked up a couple months ago, the very first thing I do is look at all of the tuning software available. What I'm looking for is the software that has the most bin file support that's already defined for the stock ECU. When I took a quick look at the PowerVision software, it was very clear that they did not have what I needed properly defined to actually tune the bike. FlashTune didn't support it, and Woolwich did, and they were willing to work with me to get the additional bin file support that I needed to get added to the software to achieve what I wanted to achieve. So that's what we went with. I am not beholden here at Tool Dynoworks to any one software developer whatsoever. I am in fact the largest user of the flashing software on the planet and the second largest user on the planet for the Woolwich software. But again, I don't really care which one I have to use. I go with the one that's going to provide our customers the best overall product and provide the most performance we can possibly get out of each bike that we offer support for. The point I'm trying to drive home here, and why I wanted to use this as an example to drive that point home, is that I can truly promise you will not find higher quality, specific ECU mapping that provides the most power and the smoothest throttle response for your bike anywhere else than right here at Tool Dynoworks. Because unlike most tuners, I do not just use one platform or another to tune these bikes. I have access to all of them. We have spent tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years buying hardware and software for every bike we can possibly get our hands on. So no matter what you have, if we offer support for it, I can guarantee that it's going to be better than what else is out there on the market for your bike. And as always, if we have support for your bike, again, you can go to our website and just look at the year, make, model drop-down finder. If it's on there and you have any questions whatsoever about getting it properly tuned and dialed in for your specific intake exhaust system, just send us an email. Our email is support@tooldynoworks.com. and I am more than happy to answer any questions you have, and I answer those emails every single day we are open. And if you're interested in more of the Transalp specific content, don't worry, I still got a lot more of that coming. Again, we bought this bike to do a tremendous amount of tuning R&D on it. I was actually out sick for about a week or so. Now I'm back in the shop and just getting caught up on that stuff. And also some accessories, like that Camel skid plate I showed you, that we're gonna talk about a lot more in depth, because a lot of folks had questions about fitment with different skid plates and different exhaust systems. And I was curious, so the guys over at Camel sent me over one to test. The product is great, and it fits with everything I've tested so far, but I'll also show that in separate videos here coming very soon.